Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, which means it's time for a Talk Magic. Now, today I'm going to be talking to a double act, not just any double act, but probably one of the fastest rising, most popular double acts in the UK right now. Now, they have literally won almost every single award there is to be won. They are smashing it. They're traveling the world performing. They've just had their debut on the West End, as well as winning one of the biggest awards in Magic. They're both incredibly talented, and they're redefining what it is to be a double act in Magic, and they're doing and pushing boundaries and doing things in a very, very different way. And if that wasn't enough, they've got Danny Hunt behind them as well as their kind of Yoda stroke Splinter to their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's all very, very exciting, and I'm going to introduce them to you. I have right here with me the one and only Raymond and Cannon, or is it Cannon and Raymond? Raymond and Cannon, Cannon.
Raymond and Cannon.
I don't know. The poster says otherwise, but we'll go with Raymond and Cannon. Or shall I call you Dean and Kezia? I don't mind. I'll call you whatever you want to call. I'll call you Bob and Fred if you want. I'm not bothered. But the bottom line is, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Thank you. You guys are so ridiculously busy. It makes me tired just watching your social media. Like normally when I arrange to interview somebody, they're like, yeah, I'll do it in a day or two. You're like, yeah, we can fit you in a month and a half. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it has been great. You know, thanks for the wonderful introduction, by the way. That was really nice. Yeah, it's thanks for having us on. We're really excited to be here. Yeah, finally.
Well, I'm excited about it as well because there's not many double acts in Magic. You don't have a lot of double acts, and even less double acts where it's two opposite genders. You know, you have your Penn and Tellers and your Young and Strangers and your Griffin and Joneses and all those guys, and but you don't see many times where you have a double. And for anybody who's not seen these guys before, don't make the mistake of thinking illusionist and assistant. That's not the case at all. And that's why I love you guys so much. You are very much a double act, and you don't see that. I can't actually think of many double acts where that's actually been the case before. Can you?
Not really. No, I mean, there's probably some out there. So apologies if we're not naming them, but we just realised over the years that we can bounce off each other so well. And we have done a lot of different things. We've worked on a lot of different magic shows and stuff, but we seem strongest when we come together, and we work quite well. We bring a lot to the table, both side of things. I don't think I could do it without Kezia, and Kezia probably couldn't do it without me. Yeah.
Even though she was just talking about her own solo show a week ago on social media, but let's let that go.
Yeah. No.
I think she can do it without you, mate, is what I'm saying. According to her social media. So just
no, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. She does so well on her own as well. It's great. Yeah. Cannon and who was it? I don't know.
Exactly. We're going to talk all about the double act. We're going to talk all about the dynamic. I want to delve deep into it. But first of all, we need to look at your origin story. So, I've spoken to so many magicians that have all got their own origin story. Because there's two of you, I'm going to ask both of you what your origin story is separately getting into Magic, and then we can kind of talk about the moment that you kind of met and linked up together and created the act, because you have individual stories that brought you to a point that you then kind of teamed up and create the act that we now know. So, ladies first, we'll start with you, Kezia. What's your origin story? How did you get into Magic? Where did this all come from? Because I've heard one of my favorite, no, I will tell you, my favorite performance of Gypsy Balloon is performed by you. Now, I don't know how much of that story is completely true. You tell a story about your origin stories. I don't know if that's actually 100% truthful or accurate, because, it's on stage. It could be, it might not be, but I've heard that story obviously as part of your Gypsy Balloon, but I'd love to know where did it all come from?
Yeah, so the Gypsy Balloon routine is like as true as it can get, and that is literally like, and you can ask anybody who was with us that day, and that was absolutely as true as possible. And I think my background was kind of more through theatre. I kind of started more in acting as I was younger, and then I sort of slowly started to creep into magic. So yeah, that's kind of how it was kind of going. And yeah, the Gypsy Balloon story that I tell basically is like I get this opportunity to go and work on this magic show, which was true. It was we were working at the time, we were working at Blackpool Tower Circus as part of the hijink show, and all of my main memory of that day is being in like full costume, ready to go. We're about to do this first show, and I just get this email just saying like I've been made redundant, and that was the end of it. And I was like, and like everybody who was with us that day remembers that me just kind of going, oh my god, now what? And then yeah, and then it kind of was like something was saying, okay, now's the time to just, because I was already dabbling in magic as it was anyway. We were kind of already doing stuff as it was, and it was kind of that was the main thing to go to kind of say, right, just go for it now, absolutely, just jump in head first. And it kind of has been a bit of a baptism of fire ever since.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, but let's rewind a bit. Like, how did you kind of just glossed over I was working on hijinks show. Like, that's like,
Yeah.
you went from theater to hijinks. How did we get, like, did you have any interest in magic before ending up?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
how did you get to a point where Michael Jordan was like, hey, be a part of my show? Where did that all come from?
Yeah, so I've always been in theatre and I've always been a big magic fan. Like even when I was really young, I was watching Derren Brown, probably a bit too young for what I should have been back in his like early part of his career when he was kind of doing like Russian roulette and all those sorts of things. I was watching that, and there was also a lot of magic TV when I was young. There was Sorcerer's Apprentice, and there was like Help My Supply Teacher Is Magic, and all those sorts of things. So I was watching them really. So I've always been a big fan of magic anyway. And then we met.
Yeah. I'd say it was the Greenwood's job that was
The
the
Greenwood's
first.
job was yeah. So basically, we in 2021, yeah, 2021, we were both meant to be on a pantomime. Dean was the comic on the pantomime. I was stage managing, and that contract got pulled because it was COVID. And so we were like, oh my god, like what are we going to do for work? Like what are we going to do? And luckily, our friends absolutely saved us. Called Sapphire, and they were like, we've got this job, we're doing this sort of like small magic show in this sort of theme park in Greenwood, do you want it? We were like, yes please, anything anything to pay rent. So we took that on, and then literally about 2 months later was the call out. Yeah, 2 months later was the call out. Hijinks are put out being like, we're looking for illusionist assistants and we're looking for dancers, and yeah, and you'd already were connected with them anyway.
Yeah.
You were friends with them.
I did a gig with them years ago.
Yeah.
And we went to see them at Merlin's Day of Magic, wasn't it? That's
Yeah.
where I spoke to him.
And then basically we just got chatting, and then he was just like, do you want to come on the show with us? And we were like, sure. And then it just kind of, our careers kind of just went bang.
Yeah.
And then it got very busy very quickly.
That's mad. So what you and Dean? I mean, you're a couple, obviously.
Yeah.
Did that happen? Like, when did that happen in that timeline? So you met Dean. Did you guys kind of?
Yeah. So we met. What year are we in now? 2024. So we would have met about 10 years ago, and originally because we were both training at the time, as in like training to perform.
Yeah, we're on a performing arts course in college.
Oh wow! Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So we'd met for like 2 years, and we trained together. Then we went off and did separate things. Dean went to drama school, I went to university. And then about 3 years later, we kind of like met back up, and we were like, oh, hey, how's life? What are you doing? And then slowly over that summer, we became a couple, and then slowly magic then started to take place.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So was it when you kind of reconnected with Dean, is that when magic sort of really kind of came?
It took a little bit of
prevalent?
time. I think Dean's always very much a believer of keeping the magic like for everyone real, and I think Dean was so desperate not to spoil that for me, and I think he wanted to keep me a magic fan. So I think he was desperate not to let anyone reveal anything to me. And there's always like such a funny story of when you were at a gig, and then there was another magician there, and then he started revealing things, and Dean was like, no.
Feeling everything. Yeah, that was the magic bar actually, which was your second magic job, wasn't it?
That was my second. So yeah, there was Greenwood's, there was the magic bar, and then there was High
Yeah, you were helping out on the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dean was absolutely devastated. So the magic never came in really quickly. I think it was more, you didn't push me into magic. I started asking questions, and I started going, well, could I maybe try this, and maybe could I? And it was more that than it was the other.
Because I wanted it to be more natural, like, you know, if she wanted to do magic, you know, she needs to find her own journey as well, like, because, you know, I didn't want it to be that age-old thing of, oh, there's a couple, now it's just the assistant.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know, like, and just shoving her into it.
yeah,
Whereas, you know, you found your own journey, so it's good.
yeah. And there's some people that can be really natural into it, and then there's obviously some people that aren't natural, and you don't want to force something that isn't there, if that makes sense.
Mm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to reconnect with that story in a bit, but let's see if we can get Dean caught up to where we are as well. So, Dean, what's your journey into magic? Was how old were you when you decided that magic was something you wanted to get involved with?
Um, I was 13, 14. Um, here we go. Okay, I've not really said this like on an open public forum before. So basically, when I was 12, I was diagnosed with cancer. So
Oh, crap.
then I was like, you know, wiped out for a long time, you know, bedridden and stuff. Obviously, I had the support of all my family and friends and stuff, which was lovely. And then Dynamo was on the TV at that time, and because obviously I was at home, I had all the time in the world to watch him and stuff, and I loved him. So Mum said, "Well, your granddad used to do a few tricks. You know, maybe you should look into it." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I will then." And then because I had that time, you know, I was just looking, reading DVDs, typical teenager that's
Yeah.
wanting to get into magic, you know, just trying to find anything out there. And then it just went from there, really. And then as I got better, I started having these skills. And then I was showing when I went back to school, when showing people at school. And yeah, I seemed to be all right at it. So it just, that's how it went for me. And then I went on
So
to performing arts stuff.
you're at school doing magic. We know you then went on to do a performing arts qualification. Of course, that's where you met Casey. What was the goal? Was the goal, hey, I want to be a professional magician. This is something I can do, or was it just like this is a hobby? I'm really kind of more into performing, like, but you know, like,
Mhm.
what was your headspace back then?
I was always a football lad. I was always a sporty person. Like I was champion at badminton and things like that. I was a very sporty kid. So when all that stopped, there was a massive like, you know, gap that I needed to fill, and the magic sort of filled the hobby side of it. And then as I got better, it just sort of was like, oh well, could this be a thing? Like I was doing shows with people who worked in the Magic Bar, when the Magic Bar didn't exist, obviously. But years ago, I was doing shows with Chris from the Magic Bar, with people like Russell Irwood, the Conway Jester, Jay Gatlin,
Yeah.
and all these people I was doing shows with, and I was getting really good, you know, feedback from audiences and stuff. And I was going into school, I was like, I hate this. I hated school so much. And that's a horrible thing to say because they were so supportive of me.
Yeah.
But it was the education side of things. I didn't like sitting down and sort of doing that.
Yeah.
That
Whereas
reminds
all
me
I
of
wanted
another little
was
boy.
magic. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, yeah. You're experiencing it right now. You know, so
I'm
like,
living your story at this point.
yeah, yeah. So grades are going like that. Magic is going like that. So it's like, what should I do? You know. And yeah, it just became natural that it was like, okay, this could be a viable future job.
Yeah.
And then I was going around pubs and, you
Yeah,
know,
earning money as like a 15-year-old, like doing magic, and people are giving Dean
great.
loads of money at 15.
well, yeah, because I'd go in and watch the football and all these, you know, football fans are in and stuff, and I'd be with my sister and go, you know, well, I'll blow your minds, but it costs you £1 each. So
Wow.
I was coming out of pubs at 200-300 quid, and when you're 15, that's like a serious amount of money, you know. So yeah, I sort of did that hustle side of things, you know, and
That's
so that's
great.
my sort of, you know, how I got into magic
So,
and realized it could be a job.
so you went to performing arts. That's where you met Casey, obviously. Did you
Yeah.
go there because you thought, I can do this as a job? I want to become better at performing? Because it could have very much, because you hated school, it could have been a case of, I'm not going to go into a further education anymore. I'm done. I'm going to go and start doing card tricks. I'm going to start getting a job doing magic. Did you kind of understand at that age, you know, I need, you know, the more I learn about performing, the better I'm going to be?
Funny enough, no. It was a strange sort of turn of events where at the end of school, like, I went. So my dad said, "You need to get a trade. You need to get a trade." You know, I was like, "Okay, I'll figure something out." And I was like, "Okay, well, I like, you know, sea life, boats and stuff." And you know, so I went and did, So when I did a marine technology course where I learned navigation and like all these sorts of things, and then a year in to this 2 year course, I was like, what am I doing with my life? So I went, it's awful at it. So I went to the college administration office and was like, I don't know what to do here. I'm clearly bad at what have you got available? And she said, I can't tell you what I've got available because you'll just be back here in a year's time. So in my head, and I don't know where it came from, I just went, is there anything on performing arts? And then, yeah, it just, in that second decision, I was like, oh, hang on. Yeah, I do like being on stage doing magic. So would I, you know, so then when I was on the course and doing all like the trial period, I was like, oh, it helps both sides of things. So yeah, that's how I got onto it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So you then finished. So you connected there with Kezia. She then went her own way for 3 years. You went your own way for 3 years. What happened after performing college? Did you then go, right, okay, I'm going to be a magician now? What happened in that period?
I think from here is where we kind of really went on a, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
So what happened? Where did you go? What did you do?
So I went to London to go to drama school
Okay.
because I did really enjoy the acting side of things, and I wanted to develop it more as well. So went to Italia Conti and did that for a year. And you went off to uni, didn't you?
Yeah, I went off to uni. Still kind of in the same round. I was still doing lots of drama, still lots of acting stuff because I mainly wanted to be a director. I think that was my original goal because I, at the time in my naivety, was like, that's a more serious job. That's a more definite job. I'll go and do that. And to be fair, years later, I am still semi doing directing, but it's more within our own show than it is actually doing for other people as such.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, we went to drama schools and unis and stuff, and like the thing is that those things that they're so important to the acting side of things, just to the magic side of things, being on stage and all the things that like we've learned collectively we can bring together and put into an act, because it's not just I'm acting in a play. All the skills that you learn can be brought over to magic. And to be honest, I would recommend a lot of people, if they can't go to drama school, commit that amount of time, do some acting classes because it's really good, isn't it? Yeah.
So when I've spoken to a lot of people that are actors and magicians, and they talk about going away to acting school and things like that, and they say the magic just dropped away because they had to focus on that side of things. Was that the case with you guys? Were you kind of like, you're at university, you're at acting school? Did the magic kind of almost play second fiddle? And if so, what kind of reinvigorated that passion?
For me, it definitely had to take a bit of a back burner. I was still doing it and stuff, and like if I tried to pick up the odd gig in London, but I didn't have the time to like reinvent myself and advertise myself in London when you're giving away so many hours to a drama school because you essentially just give your life to it. So it did drop off, like you say, like a lot of people you've spoken to. But the second that I was done, it was helpful because, I could do acting jobs, but in all these gaps that exist, you can't do acting forever. You can do the magic. So once I was done with the training, the magic was still there, so I could just pick it up when I needed it.
Okay. And then that's where you then reconnected. So you then came back together, and we already spoke about how Kezia wasn't really doing. She was a fan of magic, but you wouldn't even let her learn how it works. Like you were hiding your thumb tips and everything and stuff. Like, so were your goals like? Obviously, we now know you as a double act, and you're on the same page. But when you reconnected and came together, I'm guessing you were still kind of had your own separate destinations that you're wanting to move towards, right? Was that the case?
Yeah, 100%. I was still absolutely I was still aiming to be a director. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to create my own shows. That's all I ever wanted to do, and that's what we were really aiming for. And I think you just wanted.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a jobbing performer, really, just make a living in it. I wanted to pick up more acting jobs, but they're very difficult to get. But that's where sort of I was pushing the pantomime side of things, so I was making sure that I was getting pantomime jobs because that's probably my favorite thing in the world. And then you dropped into panto, didn't you?
Yeah. It kind of goes along the same thing, isn't it? Because it's like variety, isn't it? And panto still to this
Yeah.
day, still very much a predominantly variety. So it kind of went hand in hand, to be fair.
Yeah. But yeah, we it took a bit of time, didn't it? After, because when COVID hit,
Yeah. Which was not long later.
we went back and studied again.
Yeah.
So like that was only about 6 months into our
Yeah,
relationship.
we had about 6 months out into industry after we both graduated, and then COVID hit, and we were like,
What do we do now?
Great.
So,
So you both decided to study again some more.
Yeah.
So I went to a drama school in Liverpool so I could do my full 3-year BA honours degree, and you went and got your master's degree in Manchester, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Salford and did a sort of very academic, another performance art sort of degree, but it's very, yeah, I did more academic than I did performance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wow, this is all really, really fascinating. So COVID ends.
Yeah.
You've now you're the most qualified magicians on the planet. You're both super qualified, and COVID ends. Is at some point, Dean, you kind of made I know you still do acting a little bit now, don't you? But I mean, the focus is magic, right? The focus is Raymond and Cannon. So at some point, you made the decision to go, you know what? I'm going to focus on magic. When did that decision happen? When did that in your head go, you know what? I've studied, I've been this, I've done this, I've got this qualification, COVID has ended, I can get back into industry. I'm going to focus on the magic. Was there something that made that decision for you, or where did that come in?
I think the decision was probably when you said, should we try it? Should we try and do something together?
Yeah.
And we were like, okay. So we created this 45-minute spot. It was
this is just after we've been with Hijinks for a season, and we're kind of going,
Okay.
oh, okay, maybe. And they're being really encouraging. Both Michael and Tamsin have been really encouraging, saying, yeah, you've got to do it. Like anything we can do to help you.
Well,
So we were kind of like, oh, maybe.
To be fair, it was probably then because Michael put this call out, and I've not spoken to Michael in years, and I've always followed his work. He's an amazing magician. So when he put the call out, I was like, I would love to work at Blackpool Tower Circus. That would be amazing. Yeah. So I got straight on Messenger to him, and when we met him at Merlin's Day of Magic, he shook my hand and said, yeah, I'd love to have you. Do you know anyone else? And then I went to you, didn't I? And just said, oh, well, he's looking for someone else.
And I wasn't really performing. I've done that one.
You've done bits and bobs.
Done that one show in the theme park, and I was like, oh, I could, because at the time I think he more wanted just extra pair of hands. He wanted somebody who could do a little bit of performing but also could be backstage, and I thought, oh, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that little bit just there. That's me done. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah. So when he gave you the job and we did the season with him, by the end of the season we were like, we could probably do something, couldn't we?
Yeah.
That must have been an incredible season, just purely from you're getting a chance to perform at the Tower Circus, getting a chance to watch Tamsin and Michael Jordan do their thing, having all of the big props there, having everything that they bring to the show.
100%. My mind was just like blown because the Tower show is just their Tower show is just huge. There's so much cast, there's so much magic, and I remember like seeing their levitation for the first time.
Oh, they're
sorry.
Yeah, juggling suspension.
Juggling suspension for the first time. Sorry, I did know that. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that for the first time, and my head was just like, what's happening? And then because we were watching them every single week, and we're watching them like these like little curtains that you can kind of peek through to see what's happening on stage. And I'd be watching it week after week after week, but then because they're so lovely, I could constantly ask them questions and go, so why, when you do this, why do you do that? And when you do this, and why do you do that? And then listening to their answers, I was going, geez, like, yeah, my head was just blown off that summer.
Yeah. So by the end of that, we decided, I think we could do something together. I did have enough stuff like that we could try.
Yeah.
So we bought a couple of illusions, and then we went from there. Really, we got in contact with an agency, and they were like, "We've just lost a Magic Act, we'd love to have you in because they left and we've actually got some gigs to fill. Do you want them straight away?
And what year was this?
This has got to be 2020.
What year are we? 2024.
24, 23. Yeah, 2023.
Okay, this is 23.
And we were actually in the middle of like polishing everything and creating the act, and we'd got to.
But not the act as it is now. It was a very different act. That back then.
It sounds like it was more of an assistant magician role from the start of it.
Because at the time, that's all I knew, because that's what I was doing on Hijinks. That's all I knew, and I didn't have the confidence to do what I've been doing now. So that's the route that we went.
Yeah. The thing that changed to make it a double act was House of Illusion.
Yeah.
It was House of Illusion.
So this is now coming to the story. So now we've got Rodney involved in this. So you were working with this agency, and you got this more traditional illusion show type thing that you were doing with the two of you, with this kind of assistant magician vibe. How did we get to Spain? Where did that come from?
So
did you guys just go?
The way that the agency was working, it didn't really. I don't think it worked properly for us, did it? And
no, I think we needed to go away and go and work on ourselves as an actor or as magicians. We needed to go and do that before we could full-fledged go, ta-da, here's our show, take our show.
After doing the gigs, like they were great, and they gave us quite a few park shows, a few in a theme park, and it was really nice. But we ultimately realised we had to find out who we were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
That was a big thing. So,
and then we had a lot of encouragement, because at the time, again, obviously we still have Michael by our sides because we were doing so much with them, because that obviously started as that one season at the Tower, then it turned into a second season, then it turned into a tour, so we constantly have got their input with us all the time. And he's saying to us, like Michael's saying to us, you need to go to House of Illusion, because everybody who takes their act out there, they come back and it's slick. Like, you need to go. People figure themselves out while they're out there. You need to go. And we're like, okay, we'll go do that now.
Yeah, and luckily, as those conversations were happening, the Magic Bar Live in Candidno put on that the House of Illusion are doing auditions there.
So we're
completely randomly.
Which we're thrown, because Dean's originally from Candidno, and we're around there a lot. So we were like, it'd be stupid not to just go and give it a go.
Because we knew they always did auditions in the Magic Circle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we, for it to be in Candidno
was odd.
Would seem like,
Yeah, that's
or something, So yeah, and we did the audition, and Rodney was very honest with us. And when we had a phone call with him a couple of weeks later, he was very honest. He was like, the magic was it needs to be better, but there's definitely something there between you, and there's something, and I want to find it. But the magic will get better, because you can always work on magic, and the routines will always get better. He said that side of things we'll work on, but it's you two. There's something between you two, and I'd like to bring you out here, and we'll work on it. So long as you promise that you work on it.
And we worked hard.
And we did. He obviously there's a massive transition period for the first ever time working abroad, and getting to know everyone and stuff, and the people are there that they've got, they're amazing, and to have people like Rodders, people like Matt Edwards, just like there in the dressing room with you, that you can work on your act with.
Both were so encouraging of us all the time, and they were constantly setting us challenges and constantly being like, right, tonight you're going to do this, tonight you're going to do that, tonight. And they were just on us all the time, really
try this, something will stick. You try 100 things, something will stick. And eventually it did.
Yeah, I think Rodney kind of put it the right way around. About a couple of months into being there, he was like, to summarise the two of you, he was like, Kezia, you're magic, and magic things happen to Dean. And then after a while, we kind of went, oh, yeah, that kind of is right.
Yeah, so magic happens to me, and I'm quite shocked. And
it's like, oh, where's this come from?
Whereas Kezia is magical. And we sort of tried to work from that base layer of what he said. That, and
so that's kind of where the act as we know it now was starting to be developed, right?
Yeah, definitely. It was, once we got home, we were like, right, we know who we are now. We need to now go and make a show again, and we need to go in.
So every time I've watched you guys, which is many, many times, I think I'm stalking you at this point.
Yeah,
You come across as kind of almost like the comedy side of the act. Like Casey is trying to be quite serious about this whole thing a lot of the time, and I mean not all the time.
yeah.
Like the bottom line is in your competition act, she strapped you up to a gurney, and but a lot of the time, the crazy shit happens to you, is what I'm trying to say. Whenever there's a laugh, it's normally at your expense.
Yeah.
Was that like what made you guys decide to come to that sort of dynamic? Because I get the whole magical things happen to you. Was it just because like what was the how was that decision made?
we
It was
realized it because when we were doing illusions, Casey was like doing like the lovely hijinks things, like looking stunning and getting in the boxes and like it's a nice really routine. But then we filmed it and we watched it and I was pulling stupid faces and I was like like ooh, and like whatever like and when we watched it, we had a bit of an argument about it because we were like, well, I said, I don't want to look serious. I don't want to, like, be sort of dun, and do all this. I can't pull it off. There's a market for that, but I can't pull it off. So it was, and then we were discussing it for ages, weren't we? And I think it came from that being like, well, let's not try and pretend we're something we're not.
Yeah.
Let's just, if I have to be stupid, because that's where I feel comfortable. Let's go down that side of things, And Casey's comedy timing, to be fair, over the last 3 years has gotten really good actually.
it's definitely
something
better
that
now.
you've had to work on, but
I think also the magic we were doing was slowly starting to lend its hand to it as well, because when we were in Spain, we were doing a lot of our quick change, and our quick change is a lot of me looking really cool, and then Dean
ended up looking a bit,
looking not very cool. So I think that was lending a hand to it as well.
I remember that was the opener at the Magic Bar Live when I saw you, where
Right,
you
yeah,
did a
yeah.
quick change, and it was just like that was the first time I'd really properly seen it. I was like, what am I watching now?
Yeah.
I feel like the first time you saw us at Ferrybridge was a very particular version, and then you got to see full-fledged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you kind of made it more towards that side of things, because you are naturally. I mean, you're both very funny, but Dean, I can't help but laugh when I see you on stage, and I mean that in a good way. Like you just, it's the sort of thing they'd say on Britain's Got Talent. You got funny bones. It's obvious. Like it's just the way you come across, and it's great. It really is.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, that means a lot because that's I like to make people laugh. It's great, isn't it? So it's good that if I can make Craig Petty laugh, I'm doing something right. Don't I?
You absolutely can, mate. You're hilarious. So you came back from House of Secrets. You've been rodified. You've really kind of got that in your head. Just a thing. You've got that kind of that double act kind of concept now, where and that's where the whole dynamic of it's not a magician and an assistant, it's two leads. Before we move on to what happens next, my question is, I've seen you guys do the cardboard box and you do it phenomenally well, and you've used it to close almost every show that I've ever seen you in.
Yeah.
Is there a reason because that is kind of a traditional magician and an assistant trick, which kind of flies against everything else that you kind of put across in the act.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you kind of included that and still kept that element in the show? I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because you do it bloody well, but I'm just wondering, did you ever have a thing of going, well, hang on a minute. The reason this comes about is I was speaking to Taylor Morgan recently, and he was talking to me about how he left a show once, and he was like, he made the decision never to do illusions in his show again when somebody said to him about his partner, oh, your assistant's nice. And he didn't want that or anybody to go, oh, she's an assistant. So he dropped all the illusions immediately. But you've still got this incredible illusion. I'm playing devil's advocate because it doesn't come across at all in the show as you're being an assistant, Kezia. But is there a reason that was kept in there like that? And like it wasn't Dean that was put in the box, for example?
It's one of them, isn't it? It's an illusion we've done from the start.
Yeah, it's a routine we've kept from the very beginning. It's the one thing that in our show has always stayed with us.
Right.
And I think as well, because we've had it for so long, that routine has got quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And I think it's the one thing that people have always said that's always really strong, and it's always been a no-brainer to take it out.
Yeah.
Mm.
It also packs flat. It packs
Just
flat.
pack flat.
Don't need a
I'll tell you
van.
the importance of that. Yes.
So yeah, it's that I can still do my funny dances to the music, you
Yeah, it's
know.
still
So
very
it's,
much us all together. It's
Oh,
still
it is.
me
Yeah.
looking cool, Dean looking like
but
Dean.
I just think when it comes to illusions, I love illusions so much.
Yeah.
With that one, it's exactly what it says it is.
Yeah.
It's a cardboard box with
Yeah.
someone inside it, and we're throwing spears in.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's quite like a pure illusion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and that's I just really like when we do it.
Yeah, I don't think we'd ever really so much thought, well, if we keep this in, then you become an assistant. I don't think it was ever that. I think it's because we purely loved the trick and we loved how much, and you can like even inside the box, you can hear the punters be like,
Oh, it gets such a good, yeah.
like, and it's like we were like, oh, I'd be so done to take this out because it's just such a good trick.
And to be honest, just directly before that, Kezia has done her balloon routine, which is really powerful. You know, I think up until that, you know, the first 42 minutes of the entire show, like we've proven that we're not a magician and assistant. Like,
Absolutely.
so we've earned the right to do this. You know,
Yeah.
do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I think you're right.
That,
I think you're right.
yeah.
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
completely agree with you 100%. So you came back from the House of Illusion, and with this whole concept of this double act, and you've polished your show because you've been out there.
Yeah.
Is this where Danny Hunt got involved? Because from my point of view, you blew up out of nowhere. Like a year ago, I'd never even heard of Raymond and Cannon. Not even a year ago, like 6 months ago, I'd never heard of Raymond and Cannon. And then I remember Danny when we were talking about Ferrybridge and Ryan and Thea were doing the show. They were like, it was like, I know you do spike rap. I know the kids do spike rap. Don't do spike rap because Raymond and Cannon are there. I'm like, who are Raymond and Cannon? They're like, oh, they're this double act. I'm like, oh, really exciting. And I saw you there. And then I saw you somewhere else a week later, and somewhere else a week later. And then I'm seeing you all over social media, and then you go and win the IBM, and then you go and win you get an award at the close up at the IBM, and you've won this, and you've won this, and now you're everywhere, and then you're on the West End. It feels to me like in the last 6 months, you've just blown up everywhere.
Yeah, basically.
How, I mean, there's going to be a lot of professional magicians watching this that are like sitting on their hands going, I need more gigs, that want more like exposure, that want more people out there knowing who they are. And you've just done it in the space of a few months. Like, was it by design? How much of a role did Danny have to play with this? Like
A little bit. I think it's a combination of a few things, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a combination of a few things. And basically, how it all came about is when we came to the end of our contract in Spain. Right at the very end was the Magic Circle stage competition. So we, as the team of House of Illusion, were all going over, all to go and support the event. So we were kind of all there, and obviously then everybody else is obviously coming in, and everyone's flooding to one area. So then that night we meet Danny, and we know of Danny. Danny kind of knows of us because through Michael, because he has they have a big friendship. So I quite ballsy kind of go up to Danny and Steph and go, "Hi, I've learned so much about you. It's so nice to meet you." Blah blah blah. And then I assist with them with because they brought an illusion to be in the show, so I assisted with them to make that all kind of happen. So that's where that kind of started.
Yeah, so that like it felt, you know, quite like looking back, it did feel a little bit destiny. Like, you know, we finished the House of Illusion. The day we get back on UK soil is the day we met Danny.
Yeah.
And I think looking back on the career, it is a culmination of a few things. Working on the Hijinks show, we've worked on a lot of different magic acts.
Yeah.
Sapphire Illusionists, also known as Magic Light Productions, who put on the pantomimes. They've got an amazing illusion act, and like Stuart has been doing it for many years. Libby's been doing it for many years. Libby's now a member of the Magic Circle. So working on all these different shows, and then when we got in touch with Danny, like it took. I
think it was general intrigue on their end because they were kind of like, "You had an act. Where did that go?" And we were like, "Yeah, we did. We used to have this act, and that act doesn't really work for us. But we're now kind of doing this." And
because they'd heard of us because we did a gig at Pontins.
Yeah,
that was
years ago. And yeah, so we were like, well, we have this, and they were kind of like, well, what's happening with that? Like, what are you doing with that? We were like, well, we don't really do that now, but we're kind of like developing this thing, and they were kind of like, okay, well, what can we do to help? And we were like, well, don't really know. Like, we just want to try and rebuild ourselves up a bit. That's kind of
Yeah.
where we kind of got to.
So yeah, and when we'd finished Panto and all the winter season was done, when it got to January, February, that's when these serious conversations started happening with Amethyst, where, you know, right, well, if you've got something, can you send it us and we can look at maybe developing a bit and then go from there. And we did a show at the Magic Bar, which was a completely brand new show. We did a lot of different new stuff, and then we sent it to them, and they were like, "This is amazing. We've got some notes," and then and that's how it started. And now we've got management, Svengali been putting us out there, and
they've just basically, it's like I always say, like when we first went to Hijinks, our careers kind of did like a bang, and then we've kind of been going along again, and then since they've kind of got involved, and we've done another like bang, and it's just
and because Danny, bless him, he's so well connected, like, you know, that, like, you know, Danny and Steph know so many people, and they have just helped us take that next step, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's that, but also they're like, it gets said a lot, they're like the greatest minds of magic at the minute.
Yeah, Danny and Steph are incredible. Yeah,
they're absolutely amazing, and they worked really hard, and we must have gone back to the drawing board with our act several times, like back and forth, because we would do something, and me and Dina kind of go, oh, but this isn't Raymond and Canon happening right now, this is a different things happening, and we'd go, oh no, we don't want to do that, can we start it? And they'd be like, okay, yeah, let's start again, and it would just keep going back and back and back and back and back, and then eventually what we have now is what we have.
So, you know, it was taking their minds and know-how and everything in magic, and then taking what we've developed over the last 3 years and what we've found, and then putting it all together, and then that's where the act has come from, really.
And they I think one of the early conversations I remember is them kind of saying, well, what do you want to get, like when somebody talks about your act, what do you want? And we kind of wanted to say that we wanted people to kind of say, oh, they're strong together, but they're also just as strong when they're on their own. We didn't want it to be like, oh, Dean's great, and Dean's great with Kezia, but then Kezia kind of falls off to the wayside when she's on her own. Like, that was the last thing we ever wanted, because I think as well, it's not within my personality to be that. I'm not one to kind of, I used to hide behind other people, but that's very not my personality. And it was also a conversation that I was having with Matt Edwards back in Spain, where Matt was kind of like, you need to stop being an assistant, you need to start being a magician. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go do that now. And it's all those conversations that have happened over this last year.
It's just a few light bulb moments, isn't it? You know, when someone just says something to you and you go, oh yeah, you're right, let's do it, you know. So yeah, and since, from when was it, March, April time, we did a like a sort of pantomime, didn't we? Alice in Wonderland. We did a pantomime in North Wales, and then from then it's been Raymond and Canon solidly up until like about last week.
Yeah, literally.
Wow.
So yeah, it might feel like it has come out of nowhere, but for us, we've sort of been quietly teetering.
It's like semi. People are, we've had it a few times when people say we've come out of nowhere, and it's like, well, not for everybody. We have always been around, and we have always been doing stuff for other people. It's just now this year has been the year that we have gone bang. So yeah, semi.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. And outside of Raymond and Canon, are you guys still, like, you obviously, you know, we'll talk about the IBM in a minute, but you won an award at the close-up, a couple of awards at the close-up competition, Dean. Like, are you still doing close-up? Is that a thing that you're still doing, or is it all the focus on the double act now and Panto?
I mean, I'd say about 95% of the focus is on the act.
But you still do fairly often.
I still do a lot of close-up and stuff, and I'm quite happy with where I'm up to at this point. So I'm not going away and studying the close-up side of things. I'm studying the double act side of things, but I do a lot of gigs and stuff.
I was gonna say, it's still all the gigging aspect. Like we obviously, because we live in the Wirral, we're so close to Liverpool, so we have like the Oracle, which is obviously an amazing like close-up bar. So Dean's regularly in and out of there all the time, and they're always really great friends with us as well, and they're always constantly encouraging me as well, and which is really lovely. So we still have that aspect as well.
Yeah, I do like working close-up in magic specific venues. that's just a part of me that like I do like doing close-up gigs, but I much prefer it in Magic specific venues because you don't have to do that element of convincing them of, stop and watch me now for the next 10-15 minutes. I
Yeah.
could just go up and introduce myself and we just go straight into it and we all have a lovely night.
Yeah.
Whereas at a wedding, you've got a lot of different things you need to consider before, you can get them to do it. But yeah, I do like working at the Oracle, the Magic Bar, all these like House of Illusion, all these venues that you can work on your close up. I do like working them. So yeah, I do it quite a lot.
And what made you guys decide to enter the IBM? Because to be clear, when you put your name forward for the IBM stage competition, it's not like you were struggling for work. You were being managed by Svengali. You were getting more work than you could shake a stick at. You were being successful. You were already being known everywhere. Was it part of the plan for world domination? Was it part of what? Where did that come in? Because it's kind of a scary thing, right? Entering a competition
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for us, we wanted to re-establish ourselves as a new act because we'd competed 2 years previous as this kind of magician assistant thing, and we did all right. We came second, which we were like, that was cool. But we were like, we were starting Raymond Academy was starting up, and we were like, oh, what if we recompeted now as we are, and let's see if we can smash it, basically. And we were like, and if we do that, then we can re-establish to the magic community, okay, we all remember this, but that's not a thing now. But this is a thing, and we wanted it wasn't so much for the competing element, it was more for we wanted to re-establish ourselves and make it really clear this is what we were now. And
Yeah, this is what we do, this is who we are. And to be honest, there has always been that thing in the background of like, we've always wanted a nice competition act.
Yeah.
Like, we've always wanted that sort of 10 minutes of the best of Raymond and Cannon that we can do in comps if we need to,
Yeah. And I think as well, like when we were in Spain, there's a big emphasis, like with a lot of magicians we were working with there, they all had compacts. It was a big thing that we didn't have as much emphasis here when we were in the UK. We now realise it is now, but at the time it wasn't. So we were like, oh, well, that would be cool. So yeah, we just kind of went for it. And then it kind of went in our favour.
Yeah.
It really did. I mean, I was there in the audience. You absolutely smashed it. And off the back of that, you're continuing to do more and more and more and more and more. Obviously, you've just made your West End debut. With Oliver and Wayne and the cast over at West End Magic. That must have been exciting.
Yeah, that was mad.
Yeah.
That was really, really mad.
Yeah,
That was a mad,
great.
and it was a great experience as well because I was also getting to see so many magicians that I looked up to, but I got to see them live for the first time. Like I've seen so much of Oliver's act, and I've been desperate to see it for so long. So to actually see that up close
you
is
wanted
really
to,
cool.
you wanted to see that
Cool.
specific one, didn't you? And
Yeah.
for me, going to drama school in London many years ago, and then to come back and make my West End debut, it feels like a nice full circle moment for me personally.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just felt like it was a month of wow, we went from
crazy.
winning the comp, we got on the back of winning the comp, we got booked to do South Tyneside family show, and then
I saw you there as well. You were brilliant there.
oh, thank you. And then and then from that we travelled through the night to go to London to do our West End. So
Yeah.
it was
a mad month. It was a mad month.
it was great. Like, that felt it was nice because that felt like the culmination of a really busy summer. Like we'd worked hard, we did the parks, we've done a lot of gigs over the summer to then win it and do the West End. It was amazing.
I think that might have been the other thing as well. I think for years, because we'd worked with so many other people, and obviously then Danny and Steph are kind of getting interested, and they're asking other people about us, and I think they could see that we were willing to work hard. We just needed that bit of direction, and I think because we smashed the summer and we worked really, really hard, we were able to create a compact that turned out to be pretty all right.
It's a bit more than all right, considering you bloody won everything. It's amazing. I mean, what you guys have achieved is epic. And I want to ask you a question. I've interviewed a lot of double acts, and a lot of double acts that I interview, not all of them, but a lot of them say the same thing as Penn and Teller, which is I asked the question, how do you cope as a double act? And Penn and Teller and many others that I've spoken to famously say, well, we're not actually friends. You know, because if we were just hanging around each other constantly, we'd drive each other nuts. So, you know, Penn and Teller are the perfect example. They work on the show together, but when they're outside of anything to do with the show, they don't hang out. Like Penn and Teller, and I've spoken to many other double acts like that. You don't have that luxury. Now, you work together. Uh, you're a couple as well. Now, I work with my wife, Sarah. You've met Sarah. Like we run multiple businesses together, and we're married and we have kids. And you know, half of the time I want to kill her, the other half she wants to kill me. My safe space is when I get to go and perform and she's not there. Like you don't even have that. Like at least I can just go somewhere and she's not there. But like you're like performing with each other, you're a couple, you're hanging out and doing coupley things, you're working on the show together, you're coming up with new material together. Like is that a difficult thing? Me and Sarah find it awkward sometimes when we just can't switch off. We always talk about work, and it's like we don't talk about coupley stuff, you know. And it's is that an issue as a double act that's also a couple, or is it not too much of a
Well,
problem?
as much as we are doing a lot together, there are still a lot of separate things that we're still doing. Like this whole October half term, we've been on 2 separate tours altogether. So there is actually more separate things that we do that maybe we don't talk about as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, when we first started, it was very much like, oh, Casey does it this way and I do it this way, and we did butt heads sometimes. But then we found a nice common middle ground. I think the key word is patience with each other. We had to have patience because we work at different things, and you know, especially with magic, like learning moves and stuff, and
And then there
like,
is obviously some room where I've got to catch up in a sense. Not saying it completely, but because Dean's been on it significantly longer and I've only really been seriously doing it for 4 years, there's been a lot of like I'm having to quickly learn along at the same time.
So we do try and give each other the patience as well, you know, but obviously,
And I think we've been lucky as well because we've worked with so many other acts who have been couples and they've, you know, said to us, give each other grace, give each other patience, take the time, like do things that you enjoy. I think because they've been so hammering us saying like, come on, you've got to look after each other. I think if it wasn't for all those people saying that, then perhaps we wouldn't have got as far as we have.
yeah. I think, yeah, patience, working on a few different contracts separately, and, you know, we do make it work so far, touch wood, you know. But yeah, it's, yeah, I think that's it really, isn't it? I don't know if there's like a key magic formula that we found, but to be honest, at the start it was, you know, there was some moments where we were like, oh, hello.
The start was harder because I think we wanted 2 different things. I think I was trying to go into my comfort of what I knew, which was hijinks, and Dean was trying to create something new, and we were at the time not gelling at all. And I think that's why we had to take that show away, bin it, and restart and go and do all the different development that we'd done. Because I don't think if we'd done that, I don't think we'd come to this kind of peace period that we're at with the act now.
That's why I'm very thankful to Matt Edwards telling you that, you know, stop being an assistant, you know.
Good old Matt. Good old Matt.
Good old Matt.
Amazing. So if anybody's watching this and you had to give somebody one piece of advice for being a double act, because I do get a lot of people saying on this channel all the time, I'm setting up a double act. What advice can you give? What piece of advice would you give if there's 2 people watching this and they're considering setting up a double act? What would you suggest?
Play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Just play to your strengths. Like, don't
try and be something that you're
you know,
not.
if one person's so good at one thing, work on that, and if the other's good at something else, try and find that you know, how to bring that together rather than being 2 separate things.
Yeah.
It's,
I think so. For so long, we tried to be something that we weren't. We were trying to be illusionists, and we were trying to look really slick, like all the great illusionists that we know. Like we would try. That just isn't. But that, you know, when you watch us on stage, that's just not who we are.
Work on the scripting of it. Like, you know, you don't want it to be, I'm saying a line now, she's saying a line now, I'm saying a line now. It, you know, it needs to be conversational. You know, it has to feel like it's the first time you're saying it.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's my bit of advice anyway.
No, I think you're right. I think it needs to be as conversational as possible. Yeah. I think
It just has to be natural. It can't be, I'm now saying a line, so-and-so saying a line.
Yeah.
You know, you need it to flow nicely. And a lot of double acts do it really well. Like,
100%.
you know, like we spoke about the IBM, like, you know, Cain and Abel did it really well. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
know, like you know, you could, they're obviously they're, you know, they're twins, but they act like best mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's just, you know, and you believe them when they're saying stuff. You know, you believe that they're having a good time, and you know that they are a bit crazy and wacky and stuff. But you know, I have seen some double acts where it's like, I'm now saying a line because this is what I'm supposed to do because the trick is coming up, you know, and you don't want it to be that, you know.
Yeah.
Mm, I completely agree. And I was in double act for years, and one thing that I've seen you guys do so well that is my pet hate that other people don't do is I've seen so many double acts where it's like, right, he's going to do a trick. Now this person's going to do a trick. Now this person's going to do a trick. And there's no element of being a double act. There may as well just be two separate solo shows that are just being presented back to back. Well, you guys have those moments where you're on stage individually, like we talked about Gypsy Balloon, the club juggling thing. Jesus Christ, I know you're up better than you. But there's also so many moments where you're on stage together,
Yeah.
you know, doing the act together, and that's just so wonderful to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we also wanted to do that because it was going back to that thing of like we wanted to be strong together just as much as we were separate. But we always, I think that's like one of the things when we were re-looking at the act with Danny and Steph is that we kept saying we want to do things together that requires both of us to be working at the same time, and that requires, okay, Dean's doing this over here, but I need to do that a bit over there because it's integral for this to happen, and blah blah blah. That was always really important to us.
Yeah, you know, by all means, you can have a separate trick and do it yourself, and the other person go
Yeah.
off, have a sip of water, and take 2 minutes to, you know, regain themselves. You know, but like if it's a double act, it should be a double act. You know, like
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's what
Or else it just
you're
becomes
advertising,
two
isn't it?
solo artists just kind of whacking a show together, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that is something we always wanted, was to make sure that, you know, we spend ample amount of time together on stage, working together. The magic is integral to the both of us,
Yeah.
not just, you know, one person getting a bunch of glory.
No, I agree. I agree completely. So here's the $1 million question. You've achieved so much success. You know, you've worked very hard to be an overnight success for months and years and years. um, my question is, what goals do you have? Because, you know, to be clear, if you stopped performing now and we took a snapshot of where you are right now and we say, look, you've performed on the West End, you've performed all over the UK, you've won this award, you've won that award, you've won the other award. Most magicians would look at that, and at the end of, if they had that at the end of the career, they go, yeah, that, wow, I did well. You know, there's a lot of magicians that are never going to even get to where you are right now, and yet I know you well enough to know that you're very ambitious, and you probably don't even, you know, we haven't even scratched the surface of Raymond and Cannon. So what goals do you have? What are there any big things on your magical bucket list that you want to achieve?
I mean, yes, we are very, you know, privileged in what we've been able to achieve, and, you know, very honored to experience those moments because, like you say, some people work their lives and sometimes don't get it. And, you know, I do have friends like that, you know, and like probably it's, I think for us, we just want to just create a career that we can just be, like, that we can sustain it, you know, that we can earn a living forever. You know,
Yeah.
that's ultimately it. Like, you know, you get these amazing gigs in like these ones that make go, wow, this is amazing. You know, like the West End, or if, you know, I would love to perform in America one day,
Yeah.
or maybe a cruise ship or something like that. But so long as we can just sustain it and just keep going, pay the bills, put food on the table, be comfortable,
Yeah.
that's ultimately, I think, what we want, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and those glamorous gigs, it's a massive bonus.
Yeah.
But so long as we can, you know,
Yeah, I think it
survive.
definitely is sustaining this life that we've got now and sustaining it, because I think sometimes people can get really to the top and then kind of drop off. But for us, we want to be able to keep going, and I think we are ambitious though.
We are
I think
ambitious, yeah.
we have bigger dreams. I think there's bigger things that there's sometimes we don't want to say it out loud because we think, or we don't want to make ourselves look like an idiot because we said, oh, we want to do this, and then, but I think for us, I think I don't particularly right now have a very specific dream, because right now all I mainly want to, or my goals right now, is just become more technically skilled and more.
Yeah.
There's a lot more magic that I want to learn, and there's a lot more that I want to do, and so I don't think there's any. I don't particularly have a specific goal right this second, but I think because as well for me, this all came out of nowhere. and my goals originally was to be a director, and that was the big goal, and then magic kind of just kind of came out of nowhere. So for me, I've enjoyed every minute of life kind of going the way it is, and I kind of think, well, if I just let life do its thing, it'll eventually just keep going. It might be the wrong way to look at it, but
Yeah, I'd say America. America's the. I'd love to do America one day. Like that's probably always been a dream, is to do something there.
Yeah.
Like I know I gave a very diplomatic and lovely answer, but I like it's America for me. Like if you can do something there, it's great.
So follow-up question. Have you ever considered, I've got to ask this, have you ever considered doing a Got Talent, whether it be an American's Got Talent or a Britain's Got Talent or something like that? Because you're very unique.
Yeah, and of course every magician's probably thought about it. We're happy to go along as we are now.
Yeah.
It's not a major ambition of us to go on a BGT or an AGT, and the thing is, like, we've had so many friends that have been on it, and it's worked really wonders for them, like, and like we're friends with like Harry, who just won it, and like it's like what the people that have done
I just
have
don't
done really
think
well,
we're
haven't they?
chasing. I don't think we're chasing what BGT is offering. I think like BGT kind of offers you a lot of things. It offers you this massive platform. I think it offers you like a level of fame, but I don't think we're chasing that as much. I think what we're chasing right now is to do something. So I don't know, but I don't know if what they're offering is what we're chasing, if that makes sense.
I think never say never, of course, never say never.
Yeah,
but right now it's just not enough, like in our plans, really, is it?
Yeah.
But again, anything could happen. Never say never. But right now it's just not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe we'll see you on it one day. But I regardless of whatever you do, I know you guys are going to be super successful because, you seem to have the Midas touch. Everything you touch turns to gold. And I know you've worked really hard to get to this position. And honestly, anyone who's watched this interview, this has been one, a great interview, but two, it's been a bit of a masterclass in what you can achieve. You just put hard work, dedication, know where you're going, put 100% in, never give up, open yourself up to every single opportunity, take risks, never say die, hustle, hustle, hustle. and that seems to be summing up what you guys have done. You've just like gone for it, and you've just said yes to every opportunity, and look at where you are now.
Yeah. I think we've definitely done that. I think we always give that as encouragement to other people to say, what advice do you give? We just say, just take every opportunity. You just don't know what opportunity lands you where. And I just think it's silly because you've got something to gain, nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very
Put
true.
yourself out there, chat to everyone, offer yourself out as well. Like it. The worst people can say is no. Like, in this industry, we can hear no 1,000 times, and times you hear yes, that 2 or 3 times can really, really be good for you.
Yeah.
And as a follow-up question, Dean, obviously Casey is now doing her own solo show. When that takes off and you're dumped into the ground and you end up doing what are you going to have a different solo show? Or are you going
to? No, I might just remember the good old days, like of once, when we won the championship, and the days that we were at Leicester Square Theatre, and I look back with such fond memories. And
in all seriousness,
can I just actually say, Dean is working on his own show right now as well. It's not just all about me.
No, you should do. I love the fact that you guys are so ambitious or so creative that you work on your own stuff and you work on this as well. It's great to see. It's great to see that you're constantly working on new material, and actually, that's one more question. Do you ever work on something for your own show, whether it's your show, Dean, or your show, Casey, and you kind of go, I'm working on this. This doesn't feel right, but this would be perfect for Raymond and Cannon. Or do you work on something for Raymond and Cannon and you go, no, the vibe's not right, but I think this would fit perfectly into my own show? Like, do you, the times where you're working on material that sort of thing happens?
It does happen. It happened the other day where Casey was in the van with Danny, because Casey does the Top Secret, the Magic Science show with Danny, and you rang me up going, we've got this great idea for you, by the way. This, we've just been chatting and we're like, oh my God, that'd be great for Dean. And then it actually was. So, and that's something that I'm already starting to look into and work on now. So, we do have that, don't we?
Yeah, I think we have like different vibes. I think like there's like Raymond and Cannon, which I always hope that people would just say it's just fun, and so it's always fun routines. It's always, we're not trying to do anything like, we're not trying to break anyone's heads. Do you know what I mean? We just want people to have fun. Whereas maybe in Dean's show, or maybe in my show, maybe I'm trying to be a little bit more clever, or I'm trying to do maybe something a bit more artistic, which I think you get a bit of flair from me anyway. And then obviously you're working on yours now.
Yeah. It's just there's so much magic out there, isn't there? That sometimes you have to admit when it's not going to work for the two of you. Scrap it. It is what it is.
There's so much stuff that we've binned, but then we've gone, maybe we'll relook at that in a couple of years' time, or in another year's time, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just is what it is. You just gotta, it's knowing your vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, like if you've bought something, yes, you've spent a lot of money on it, and oh no, it's not worked for us. I want it to work, but we just have to get rid of it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we know what we like. So yeah, we do have that where if it doesn't work for the two of us, maybe it might work as an individual, or vice versa. So yeah.
Perfect. So if people are watching this and they want to see you perform, where's the best place to check that out? Is it the website? Is it the social media? Obviously, you're constantly have tour dates coming in. I'm sure you're going to be announcing more tour dates and more tour dates. People want to see you. Where do they go?
Social media is definitely our one place right now. Yeah. Right now, it's our one place. We are building a website. It's being built. So as soon as that gets out there, obviously there. But for now, yeah, definitely social media is our biggest place, because we try and cover all our bases, whether it's us, whether it's solo, whether it's this tour or that tour. We're trying to like cover as much as we can all the time, just so people can keep up to date.
Yeah, because sometimes they might not be able to come and see us somewhere, but like we may be doing like a pantomime together, and you can come see that, and we'll still do magic in it. But it won't be the Raymond and Cannon show, but it'll be Raymond and Cannon doing magic in a pantomime.
Yeah, 100. Because we're always trying to put our stuff into stuff all the time.
Yeah, so it's Raymond and Cannon on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok.
You're on TikTok now. But how many lip sync silly dances have you done, Dean?
I do. It's more.
It's more just Dean does some random content here and there, which is always good fun.
Like me pretending to be a cow, asking you to pick a card and stuff like that.
If that's not a reason to subscribe to a social media channel, I don't know what is.
Exactly. So if that's your vibe, TikTok Raymond and Cannon is where you want to be.
You know what? I could talk with you guys for hours. You're so fun, and people that are watching this interview, that kind of encapsulates that's what makes you guys so special. It's a real relationship. It's not something that's being forced. It's not something that's been, how you are on stage is how you are off stage, just with slightly less lycra. Other than that, it's very similar, and it's great. And you guys work so well together. You really do. I think that you're destined to be like the top double act, if not the UK, then even further afield.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I think you've got something very, 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 very special, and I think that Danny wouldn't be working with you if he didn't see the same thing. And there's a guy that knows what he's doing. Danny and Steph know what they're doing. They're both amazing, and the fact that they've almost took you under their wing shows you guys have got big things. However much you've achieved up until this point, I think you'll be looking back in 5 years' time, and you're going to be light years ahead. Congratulations on all your success, guys.
No, thank you. Thanks. Really kind words. Thanks very much. It does mean a lot. It really does. Thank you.
It's true. It's true. So, guys, for watching this, thank you very much for watching this interview. Go see Raymond and Cannon live. They are amazing. Go and check them out. Go and see them. And most importantly, leave a comment down below. Let them know what you thought of this interview, because I absolutely loved it. Subscribe to the social media, subscribe to Facebook, subscribe to the Instagram, go check out their TikTok. One more time, guys, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. Thanks for everyone for watching. Thank you.
More than welcome. On behalf of Raymond and Cameron, my name's Craig. This is Magic TV. You've been watching Talk Magic. I'll be back next Saturday with another Talk Magic. Until then, see you then.